Have you ever found yourself sitting at the kitchen table with your morning cup of tea, flipping to the puzzle page of the newspaper and wondering, which one should I do today? Crossword or Sudoku? Maybe you've even thought to yourself, is one of these actually better for my brain? You wouldn't be alone. More and more people over 60 are turning to brain games to keep their minds sharp, their memories strong, and their days just a little more fun. And let me tell you, there's real power in these puzzles, more than just passing the time. But which one gives you the biggest boost? Which one truly helps you stay mentally fit as the years roll on? In this video, we're going to explore just that. We'll look at crossword puzzles and Sudoku, two of the most popular brain games for older adults, and compare them in a way that's practical and easy to understand. You'll learn how each one works in your brain, what kind of memory and thinking skills they support, and most importantly, how you can use them to your advantage to age gracefully, intelligently, and with confidence. Now, before we get too deep, let me ask you something. When was the last time you forgot where you put your glasses, or you walked into a room and couldn't remember why? It happens to all of us. And while a little forgetfulness is perfectly normal, keeping your brain active and challenged is one of the best things you can do to stay mentally strong, not just for today, but for the years ahead. So, let's start with the beloved crossword puzzle. If you're the kind of person who enjoys words, language, trivia, or you've always had a love for reading, crossword puzzles can feel like a warm hug from an old friend. They tap into your verbal memory. That's the part of your brain that helps you recall language, names, and word meanings. You're essentially giving your brain a workout in vocabulary, general knowledge, and even long-term memory. Let's say you're filling in a clue like capital of France. You already know it's Paris, right? That's your semantic memory at work, pulling information from deep storage. Then you have to remember how to spell it, fit it in the grid, and check how it connects to the surrounding clues. Suddenly your brain is juggling several tasks at once, and that's a good thing. Studies have shown that regularly doing crossword puzzles is associated with slower memory decline, especially in people over 65. It's like mental gymnastics, and it feels good, especially when you finish one completely, or even when you get close. Plus, crosswords often include clever puns, pop culture references, and little bits of wit that make you smile. That emotional lift, even if small, can boost your mood and help keep your brain engaged in a positive way. But what if words aren't really your thing? Maybe you're more of a numbers person, or just someone who enjoys logic and patterns. That's where Sudoku shines. Sudoku is a very different kind of brain game. It doesn't require trivia or general knowledge, and you won't be spelling anything. Instead, Sudoku challenges your working memory, the part of your brain responsible for holding information temporarily while you manipulate it. Think of it like your brain's scratchpad. When you're solving a Sudoku puzzle, you're scanning the grid, figuring out which numbers are missing, checking how they interact with each row, column, and box. It's all about pattern recognition, problem solving, and logic. And here's the thing. It gets your brain to focus in a different way than crosswords do. It's less about recall, more about strategy. For example, if you've ever looked at a nearly blank Sudoku grid and thought, there's no way I'm going to figure this out, but then you started placing a few numbers and suddenly it all began to click. That moment is your brain creating new neural connections. It's literally strengthening the pathways that help you make decisions, solve problems, and think ahead. And let's be honest, there's something incredibly satisfying about completing a Sudoku puzzle. It's like finishing a tough game of solitaire or solving a mystery. You feel accomplished, capable, and sharp. So we've talked about the magic of words in crosswords and the power of numbers in Sudoku, but which one's better? Well, the answer might surprise you. Now that we've taken a close look at what each puzzle type brings to the table, let's move into what science actually says about how they support brain health and what it could mean for you. So now that we've explored the individual magic of crossword puzzles and Sudoku, let's get into something even more exciting, the science. Because while puzzles are fun, it's even better knowing they're helping your brain stay healthy, active and sharp. Let's start with a study from Columbia University and the University of Exeter. Researchers there looked at over 19,000 people aged 50 and older and found something pretty amazing. Those who did crossword puzzles regularly showed brain function equivalent to someone 10 years younger. 10 years. That's not a small difference. That's the kind of brain you want when you're remembering birthdays, holding conversations with your grandchildren, or managing your finances with ease. Why is that? Well, crosswords are like little memory joggers. They pull information from different parts of your brain, challenge your ability to retrieve facts, and nudge you into making connections between ideas. And that kind of mental stretching helps keep your brain nimble. And it's not just about memory. Crosswords can also improve verbal fluency, your ability to find the right word when you need it. If you've ever had a moment where you paused mid-sentence trying to remember a name or a word, you know how frustrating that can be. Crosswords gently train your brain to stay in practice, so those moments happen less often. But don't count Sudoku out just yet. Sudoku taps into executive functioning. That's your brain's ability to plan, organize, and complete tasks. Executive function can weaken a little as we age, but the good news is it's trainable. Studies have shown that regularly doing logic-based puzzles like Sudoku can actually improve attention span, processing speed, and problem-solving ability. One study out of the University of Michigan found that participants who did short bursts of puzzles around 20 minutes a day saw measurable gains in reasoning and memory. That's just 20 minutes. Imagine the results if you did a puzzle while sipping your coffee every morning or winding down in the evening. Now, here's something interesting. While crosswords rely heavily on long-term memory and language, Sudoku works more like a mental workout circuit, flexing your focus, patience, and pattern recognition. So they're not just different in content. They actually train different parts of your brain, and that's a good thing. Think of it like this. If you only ever walked as your exercise, you'd strengthen your legs, sure, but you might neglect your arms, core, or balance. But if you mix in swimming, yoga, or a bit of strength training, you're building a well-rounded body. The same goes for your brain. Crosswords help keep your mind articulate, quick, and curious. Sudoku strengthens your logic, your attention to detail, and your ability to see things clearly and calmly. Both are valuable, both are powerful. But when used together, that's where the magic really happens. Now, I know some people say, but I'm just not a puzzle person. I get frustrated too easily. And that's totally okay. Not every puzzle has to be finished. Sometimes it's just about the effort. Even 10 or 15 minutes spent challenging your mind is better than nothing. Just like walking a few blocks is better than sitting all day. It's not about perfection, it's about participation. Here's another thought to keep in mind. Doing puzzles can also bring a sense of routine and comfort to your day. Whether it's part of your morning ritual or a way to wind down before bed, having a daily brain exercise can anchor your day and give you something to look forward to, and there's even more benefit if you do it with someone else. Yes, puzzles can be social too. Whether it's calling a friend to work on a crossword together or sharing Sudoku tips with a neighbor, these little games can open the door to connection. And social interaction is one of the strongest protectors against cognitive decline. Loneliness has been linked to everything from memory loss to heart issues. So even a small moment of laughter or shared frustration over a tricky clue can go a long way. So if you're choosing between Crosswords or Sudoku, here's what I'd say. Choose the one that makes you feel most engaged. Choose the one you enjoy, or better yet, switch between them throughout the week. You don't have to become a puzzle master, just someone who shows up each day willing to challenge your brain, keep learning, and have a little fun. And remember, it's never too late to start. I've met people in their 70s and 80s who've just discovered Sudoku, and they're hooked. I've also met lifelong crossword fans who say it's the one thing that makes them feel sharp every day. Wherever you fall, there's a way to make it work for you. Now that we've looked at how both of these puzzles support your brain in different ways, there's one more piece to consider. What does the research say about long-term impact? How do these habits affect the risk of dementia? And what's the best way to incorporate them into your daily life without getting overwhelmed? Let's explore that next. When we talk about keeping the brain healthy, we often focus on what we lose as we age: memory, sharpness, reaction time. But what if we shifted the conversation to what we can gain? Because the truth is, even after 70, your brain is capable of growing, adapting, and building new connections. And guess what supports that kind of brain resilience? Yep, crosswords and Sudoku. Let's look at the long-term impact. Multiple studies have linked regular puzzle solving with a lower risk of dementia. One of the most eye-opening came from the University of Exeter. They found that adults who frequently engaged in word puzzles had brain performance equivalent to people up to 10 years younger in memory and attention tests. That's not wishful thinking. That's real, measurable brain power, simply from picking up a pencil or tapping away at an app for a few minutes each day. But here's the part that really hit home for me. It's never too late to start. You don't need to have done puzzles your whole life to see the benefits. Even starting at 70, 75 or 80 can make a difference. The brain is like a muscle. It gets stronger when we use it. And when we talk about brain health, it's not just about preventing dementia, though of course that matters. It's also about quality of life, feeling confident when you're managing your day, remembering the names of the new people you meet, staying focused during a good book or conversation, keeping your independence. So how do we make these puzzles part of daily life without it becoming a chore? Start small. Maybe it's 5 clues from a crossword over your morning tea, or just one Sudoku grid while waiting for dinner to cook. Keep a puzzle book near your favorite chair, or try a puzzle app on your tablet if you're more digitally inclined. Set a timer if you like, or don't. There's no scorecard here, just you showing up for your own well-being. And if you're wondering how often is enough, most brain health researchers suggest just 15 to 30 minutes a day. That's it. A little time spent stretching your mental muscles can go a long way over the weeks and months. How do you choose between crossword puzzles and Sudoku? If you enjoy words, trivia, or general knowledge, crosswords might feel more satisfying. They're especially great if you like a challenge that's rooted in memory, pulling names, phrases, and meanings from your mental library. On the other hand, if you love patterns, numbers, or a clean logic puzzle, Sudoku might be more your speed. It doesn't rely on memory, it builds focus and helps train your brain to think methodically. And if you're the kind of person who wants the best of both worlds, there's no rule saying you can't do both. In fact, switching it up is good for you. It keeps the brain guessing, growing and adapting. Just like a physical cross-training routine, giving your mind a variety of challenges helps it stay balanced and resilient. Now, let's take this one step deeper. Puzzles alone are powerful, but when combined with other healthy brain habits, they become even more effective. Let me explain. Puzzles are a form of cognitive exercise, but your brain also thrives on physical movement, nutritious food, restful sleep, and meaningful connection. So if you're already doing crosswords or Sudoku, you're on the right path. But imagine pairing that with a short daily walk, a healthy breakfast full of omega-3s, or a weekly phone chat with a friend. And here's a fun tip. Combine activities. Do a crossword while you sit in the sun, play Sudoku on your phone while you pedal slowly on a stationary bike. Even better, invite a friend or grandchild to join you. Teaching them how to solve a puzzle is another way to reinforce your own learning, and it creates a lovely bonding moment in the process. Remember, this isn't about becoming a genius. It's not about being perfect or finishing the hardest puzzle in record time. It's about engagement, showing up, being curious, challenging yourself in small ways every single day. And let's not forget the emotional benefits. There's something deeply satisfying about solving a tough clue or finishing a tricky grid. It brings a little moment of joy, of accomplishment. That sense of I've still got it, and that, my friend, is priceless. So whether you're a crossword fan, a Sudoku devotee, or just puzzle curious, the bottom line is this: you're doing something powerful for your mind. You're investing in your clarity, your confidence, and your independence. You're telling your brain, you matter, I'm here for you, and that kind of love goes a long, long way. Let's wrap things up with a little inspiration, shall we? So let's pause for a moment and breathe that in. This idea that your brain, even now, can still grow, adapt, and feel alive with possibility. That's something to be proud of. Every time you open a crossword puzzle or dive into a Sudoku grid, you're doing something more powerful than you might realize. You're building a healthier future for yourself. One clue, one number, one small win at a time. Now, we've talked about how crosswords can boost memory, language skills, and verbal reasoning. We've explored how Sudoku sharpens logic, concentration, and pattern recognition. But let me say this clearly, there's no single winner here. The better choice is the one you enjoy more, because if it makes you smile, if it keeps you coming back, then it's working. And sometimes, the very best brain food isn't what we do, it's how we feel while we do it. Are we engaged, curious, even a little challenged? Those are signs of a mind that's still in motion, still expanding. So whether you're penciling in clues at the kitchen table or tapping away at a Sudoku app while waiting for your cup of tea to steep, just know you're doing something good for yourself. Really good. Maybe you've already got a morning puzzle ritual, or maybe today is the first time you're considering giving one a go. Either way, you're not behind. You're not late. You're right on time. Your brain will thank you for every minute you give it. And if there's a takeaway I want to leave you with, it's this: growing older doesn't mean growing duller. Quite the opposite. It's a chance to explore new hobbies, wake up old passions, and protect the most precious parts of who you are. Your memories, your sharpness, your joy. And believe it or not, a simple puzzle can help you do just that. So I invite you, start today, open a crossword, try a Sudoku, switch it up tomorrow, laugh when you mess up, celebrate when you get it right. But most of all, keep going. Keep challenging that beautiful mind of yours. And now I'd love to hear from you. Which one do you prefer, Crosswords or Sudoku, or maybe both? Share your thoughts in the comments below. You never know who you might inspire just by sharing what's worked for you. And if this video gave you something to think about, or a little encouragement, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to Vibrant Years for more tips, stories, and wisdom to help you live fully, age powerfully, and shine at every stage. Remember, your mind is one of your greatest gifts. Keep it nourished. Keep it active. Keep it playful. Here's to sharp thinking, big smiles, and vibrant years ahead. You've got this, and we're right here with you. Soft music plays. Volume at 0.3. Pause for 5 seconds. Fade in text that reads